Hello, welcome to day 18 of the 30 Days of Grace. So this is a story time episode, and I didn't have a story for today, so I thought I will go to the Bible. There's quite a few stories there, actually. I don't know if you've heard of the Bible, but it's got stories in it. It's a whole thing. So today we are reading from 2 Kings chapter 5, verses 1 through 14.
Read after verse 14 at your own peril.
I didn't feel like doing that for today for our Grace series. I turned off my other light because it was annoying me and I'm feeling artsy. This side can be lit. This side is in the dark. Anyways, 2 Kings chapter 5. So Naaman, commander of the army of the king of Assyria, was a great man with his master and in high favor, because by him the Lord had given victory to Syria. He was a mighty man of valor, but he was a leper. And I keep finding notes to say leprosy is a term that kind of covers several skin diseases. So I don't know exactly which one, but it says he was a leper. Now the Syrians on one of their raids had carried off a little girl from the land of Israel, and she worked in the service of Naaman's wife. She said to her mistress, "Would that my Lord were with the prophet who is in Samaria. He would cure him of his leprosy." So Naaman went in and told his Lord, "Thus and so spoke the girl from the land of Israel." And the king of Syria said, "Go now, and I will send a letter to the king of Israel." So he went, taking with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 changes of clothing. And he brought the letter to the king of Israel, which read, "When this letter reaches you, know that I have sent to you Naaman my servant, that you may cure him of his leprosy." And when the king of Israel read the letter, he tore his clothes and said,
"Am I God to kill and to make alive, that this man sends word to me to cure a man of his leprosy? Only consider and see how he is seeking a quarrel with me."
But when Elisha, the man of God, heard that the king of Israel had torn his clothes, he sent to the king, saying, "Why have you torn your clothes? Let him come now to me, that he may know that there is a prophet in Israel." So Naaman came with his horses and chariots and stood at the door of Elisha's house. And Elisha sent a messenger to him, saying, "Go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall be restored, and you shall be clean." Jordan is a river, FYI. But Naaman was angry and went away, saying, "Behold, I thought he would surely come out to me and stand and call upon the name of the Lord his God, and wave his hand over the place and cure the leper. Are not Abana and Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? Could I not wash in them and be clean?" So he turned and went away in a rage. But his servants came near and said to him, "My father, it is a great word the prophet has spoken to you. Will you not do it? Has he actually said to you, 'Wash and be clean'?" So he went down and dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan, according to the word of the man of God. And his flesh was restored like the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. When I was trying to figure out a story to read today, I reached out on Instagram, and then I reached out to a few friends of mine, and I was just like,
"Help, I need some stories."
And my friend Christian came up with several, but one of them was about Naaman.
Ta-da!
I was talking to my husband, Bobby. You may be familiar with him. He's pretty great. And when I said it out loud, I was like, yes, the story of Naaman. Like, they're all good stories, of course. But I really identified with this because I feel like something that I'm learning right now is God is not always working in the way that I think he should be working. And God is not always trying to teach me the thing I think he's trying to teach me, if that makes any sense. My inner voice can be very critical, very critical. Not that that always gets me to do anything. I just sit there and think about how I suck.
And yes, I know that's not all true, but this is what I'm saying. I'm just telling you.
Oftentimes, I have thought, well, obviously God is trying to show me that I need to not be so prideful, and God is trying to show me this and that and that. And yes, obviously, we all have to deal with pride. And I'm sure God is, in a way, teaching you that. But sometimes it's okay to just enjoy God. And sometimes God is teaching you a different lesson. Like, I think God teaches us what we need to learn, if that makes sense. Like, if you have someone who is very aware of their pride, maybe God's next step is showing them something completely different that has nothing to do with pride, because he's like, you're already learning that. You're already on the right path. Let's look over here, because I also love you, and I'm also wanting to show you that you can enjoy the things that I have given you. That can be a valid lesson as well. But anyways, to bring it back to the story of Naaman. Naaman was angry because of what Elisha, I don't know. I think it's pronounced Elisha after all these years of saying Elisha. Whatever. I'll say it whatever. You figure it out, okay? He's in 2 Kings. Okay, just deal with it. Anyways, so Elisha says, go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall be restored, and you shall be made clean. He's telling him how to be healed. He's giving him practical steps on how to be healed. But Naaman doesn't like that. He doesn't, and it wasn't what he expected. He's actually angry at the prophet for how he's telling him he can be healed. He's saying,
I thought you would come out to me and stand and call on the name of the Lord your God, and wave your hands over the place and cure the leper.
Leper is a person, right? Anyways, he thought he would wave his hand over whatever spot that was a problem for Naaman, and it would just be healed. He didn't think he'd have to do anything. I think it's interesting because in the Bible, so many people got healed, but they were healed in so many different ways. And a lot of them actually, I feel like, had a lesson attached to them. Like this one, Naaman was angry. It says angry and rage. Like, that's pretty strong. And I think sometimes in our lives, we can be that way. And sometimes maybe we don't even acknowledge that something we heard is from God just because we don't like how it was said, or we don't like what's expected out of us, or something like that. But I think even in how God heals people, he takes the time and thinks, what is the most effective way to not only heal their body, but maybe help them grow spiritually, help them grow closer to him in some way. And I think that is really cool, actually, because it shows how deeply God cares for us on an individual level. God cared for Naaman's physical well-being, but he cared for his spiritual well-being as well. God is the ultimate multitasker, and he's not like humans who, when we multitask, we're only half paying attention to what we're doing. God can give his full attention to every single thing. Everything. And it's amazing. It's amazing. I can't comprehend it. And it's really cool to watch him grow people while healing them. I think that's a lesson that I'm learning right now. And I would encourage you to pray if you feel like you're in some kind of rut and you're pretty set on what you think God's trying to teach you in this lesson, but you're not getting anywhere. Maybe pray, God, is there something I'm missing here? Is there something else that I should be learning, but I'm so focused on this other thing that I think I'm supposed to be learning that I can't see what's in front of my face? I would pray that. But thankfully, Naaman's servants were like, please, don't leave. Don't leave. The prophet gave you a good thing. Just try it. Just do it. I mean, what's the worst can happen? Like, you wash in the river 7 times and nothing happens. You've lost nothing. You got maybe a little cleaner. God loves us so much, and he cares about us on every level that there is. Emotional, mental, physical, spiritual. Every level, even ones we're not aware of. And that kind of goes back to the thing we talked about the other day. God's working all things for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purposes. And it's really cool to see, whether it's in the Bible or modern day life. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today and were edified by it, maybe even a little bit challenged by it. And I hope to see you tomorrow for day 19 of the 30 Days of Grace.